Hello, what's up, everybody? My name is Amalia. I am a quantum alignment guide, and I am here to talk to you about gratitude and how we can use gratitude even in the darkest moments of our current experiences or deep childhood wounds of abandonment and rejection, injustice, and even really dark ceremonial experiences. If you have been doing medicine work a couple of times or in a path with it, gratitude is such a powerful tool to use in those deep and dark spaces where you are feeling a lot of fear. So, today, that's what we're going to be talking about. I'm coming at you from my home in Bacalar. I'm kind of loving this wind right now. It's giving me this like Beyonce vibe. So, thank you. Gracias. Gracias, aire, viento sagrada. So let's get into it. Gratitude. I am teaching about this week. I'm really sharing as much as I can about it because it's such a potent technology to infuse into your life. And as I was mentioning, deep childhood wounds of abandonment, injustice, rejection, humiliation, betrayal. These are the wounds of the soul that we all will experience at least 3 to 4 of them in our lives, and they become the archetype of our imprints. And when we go into medicine work, what happens is that the medicines, whether you're working with ayahuasca, mushrooms, bufo, even, you can experience the language of the medicine being extremely abstract. And depending on what you are meant to learn from it, will show you what you need to see for that teaching. And so the language of medicine is not linear, it's not direct, it's not like I'm speaking to you right now. You may hear communication from the medicines in this form, but it doesn't necessarily mean what you hear. For example, you may hear or you may ask, especially by the way, if you are leaning into seeking answers, then you might get very trickster like responses. And the reason for that is that you are being asked to use discernment. You are being asked to tune inwards and really ask yourself if what you're hearing is correct for you. And that's how we will learn discernment. That's how we will be challenged or tested, is to hear things that are somewhat straight up false. And also, it is a way that we get exposed to our subconscious mind and our subconscious beliefs through witnessing it in other people. So, for example, if you're having a really challenging experience and you feel all of a sudden that there is evil in the room and there is a lot of dark energies, or the maestro is suddenly feeling something dark, what you can do in that moment exactly is start to bring in this gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for presenting me with this opportunity to trust my instincts, to trust myself, and to ask what part of this is a reflection of me that I have never seen before. This is very deep levels of shadow work. And essentially, what gratitude does is it opens us to the opportunity to tap into that shadow work. You know, in my last video, I was talking about my previous relationship where I was betrayed and humiliated in front of all of our friends. And the truth is that, as you have read perhaps my email or my Substack about it, is that my shadow in that is that I was betraying myself, but I would not even be able to see that I was betraying myself to be in that relationship if I wasn't grateful for the experience. So, what I'm sharing with you is that gratitude, the technology and the frequency of gratitude, opens neural pathways in the brain to be able to see other perspectives. So if you're in a ceremony and you're being presented with something very dark, very scary even, right? Like, I don't want to look, I don't want to look, or oh, that person's evil, or there's a dark entity in the room, or their intentions are bad, right? The minute you start feeling anything that is fear based, as soon as you start bringing in gratitude, thank you for bringing this into my field. Thank you for showing me this. What am I meant to learn? What is the teaching here that I cannot see? What part of this is a reflection of me? Where is this fear blocking me from being able to see what you're trying to show me? These are all the questions that might start coming to you naturally the minute you start opening yourself up to gratitude. Because if you're going like this, I'm scared, this is dark, this is evil, then you can't, there's no space to receive other information. So if you're feeling like this and you start saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for releasing this perception, thank you for releasing this energy, thank you for showing me and for telling me what this teaching is. Thank you for showing me where I have been projecting this energy in my world, in my community, in my field. Thank you for, do you see how I'm opening? With each little bit of gratitude, you start to open. And the minute you start to open, now you are here and you sit with humility. That humility is that, like, I don't know, show me. I don't understand, teach me. And then you will start hearing different things. You will start seeing different things. Everything will start opening up in a different way. And it's the same thing when we do that in life, because remember, life is a ceremony. I was talking the other day to a friend, what have you been up to? I've been in a ceremony of marketing. Making these videos, teaching in this way, this is something new for me, a fear that I'm moving through, being heard. And I'm using gratitude every day. Thank you for giving me the courage. Thank you for walking me through my fears. And that opens me. And so ceremony work can be very tricky because there can be trickster energy that gets infused. And as long as you stay humble, and the humble student is the curious student, it's looking for the teaching. It's not standing in conviction. It's being open to another perception. And gratitude is the doorway to even tap in to that ability within your spirit. So I was saying earlier, most of my ceremony work, I spent 5.5 years working with plant medicine for my own self in my own work, because I was studying the subconscious mind. I was studying the coding in my DNA. I was studying the belief systems that weren't even mine, that were passed down to me. And I was studying the process of rewiring, recoding, redeveloping new ideas, new neural pathways, like a scientist. And in that, I had to see a lot of dark stuff. And it was dark stuff within me. It was dark within my lineage. It was dark within the beliefs, the survival modes, the mode of operations. And then I started guiding people. I don't facilitate plant medicine, but I guide people through their processes, because I became a master at understanding the subconscious mind and the illusions that our perceptions create within our experience. And so, with understanding that, we can create consciously from that place. And gratitude has been such a powerful tool to be able to open ourselves up into other ways of being. And essentially, the root of transformation is one simple thing: it's perspective. If you change your perspective, you will change your life. It's like if the glass is half full or the glass is half empty. If you're a half empty person, your brain is going to look for that half empty in every single area of your life. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So at this point, my brain is trained to see the blessing in everything, in all darkness and all evil. I can see what it's actually doing to benefit certain people, and I don't mean benefit the people that are the ones that are in service to self, that are creating destruction with selfish intentions. I mean the benefit that it is doing for the people that are on the victimization, on the receiving end of it. That's where the real blessing is. It's not in the service to self archetype that is damaging other people for their own benefit, but it's truly for the people that are being damaged. Like, what is the teaching? What is the lesson? What is the expansion opportunity here? How can I let go of my grasp on what I truly believe to think is right, that is for me, that is a certain way, in order to actually receive this as a blessing to expand me? Because that is the intention behind all that we experience. That is what we have to work through. If your intention is going into ceremony and you're asking for freedom, you're asking to free your soul, yourself, you are going to face every aspect of you that is enslaved. And those aspects of your enslavement at this point in life is mostly in the mind. So you might start seeing religious stuff, you might start seeing political stuff, you might start seeing media stuff, you might start seeing cultural things and parental lineage, familial things, and it might start getting really confusing. Why am I seeing these things? I remember one ceremony. It was actually my first diet with Bob and Sana. I wanted to connect to true love within myself, and I was dreaming the weirdest things. I remember I even had like a dream of the Kardashians, and I had like, and I was just like, why is my diet being bothered by this stuff that I don't care about? But what I realized is that it was showing me what my perception of love and adoration was from an external landscape. I was seeing what this family has created and how that was being processed in my mind as love. And then I realized that in my past life, all my business endeavors, all my dreams were really rooted in external validation. Like, I did it. So I believed that I couldn't receive love unless I was good enough for it, right? That I had to achieve, I had to succeed in a financial and business landscape in order to receive love. And so that's what the medicine was showing me. It was just continuously showing me things like Kardashian and celebrity, and I realized later, but at the time it was so frustrating to me. That was so dark. I was really inundated with so much stuff from media and materialistic things, and that's why. But the medicine doesn't say, hey, this is what you really believe. It just shows you like pictures and movies and all these different aspects. I used to jump into ayahuasca ceremonies. I remember being so scared. I hated the beginning. The enter into the medicine would always be all these clowns and these clocks and these TikToks, and it would be like, you know, one mouth. It was literally like, if I could put it into a visual, it would look like some AI video, and it was terrifying to me. And I hated it, but some reason I kept leaning into it because I knew there was just so much teaching there. And the more I purged, every time I would purge, I would just say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And every time I would say thank you, it would open something up in me and I'd be able to purge more. And then I would ask, what am I purging? And I would hear the belief, I would hear the wound, I would hear the sadness that I was carrying. And I was only able to hear it because I was infusing this gratitude. And I hear people a lot talk about gratitude, but you can kind of tell when somebody's not embodied in it. and embody it in the practice, because they'll be the first ones to come out of ceremony and start pointing fingers. And there's like, plant medicine is the most powerful tool for shadow work, because whatever you're pointing at, right, there's a mirror on the other side. And so, in my experience, in my deep studies, I have found that gratitude truly is the technology to be able to open up to the shadows that are behind us. And when you are in a process of ego disillusion, right, whether that's happening in ceremony with a plant spirit, or that's happening in the ceremony of life, you lose your job, you're in the middle of a career change, your business isn't doing well, you're going through a breakup, you're fighting with friends, family. This is the moment, my friends. This is the moment to stop and be like, thank you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. What is the teaching here? What is in this for me to understand about myself? Do I need to create a boundary? Do I need to voice my truth? Do I need to express how I really feel? And not in a state of projection, but in a state of what is really coming through as a teaching for you, and how you can give that to yourself more first, and then be able to express it in a loving way, not from a charged way. And so, this is how I work with gratitude in plant medicine ceremonies. This is how I work with gratitude in the ceremony of life, and being able to transfer that reverence and respect that you have in ceremony when you sit in your place, when you give gratitude, when you say your prayers. You can share that same level of gratitude into your life when things are falling apart, when things are not going well as when they are, obviously. And giving that gratitude when things are going well is in some ways what keeps them going well, because it keeps you humble. It keeps you remembering that from one minute to the next, anything can change, on the positive and on the negative. That's why life is a ceremony. How can we stay humble? How can we stay grateful? So, this is what I wanted to share with you today. I am opening a 21-day gratitude challenge. You can see the details below in the description here. We are beginning on the winter equinox, December 21st, and we are going for 21 days. In 21 days, a habit is formed. And when you train your mind to find the blessing in the devastation, in the loss, in the challenge, in the darkness, in the shadows of what you are learning, I promise you that shift in perspective is what will change your life. And when your mind is trained to seek the blessing and seek the teaching, you are constantly going to be in flow, instead of holding on to how you wanted it. Because what your ego wanted can sometimes be attached to the wound versus attached to the higher timeline that you are intentionally trying to align with. You have to let the universe do its part. And that part is where you have to let go. So thank you very much. This is what I had to share for today. Details will be below. You can contact me directly if you have any questions, if you'd like to work with me, and join us on December 21st and enter this gratitude challenge. If you are seeing this video after the challenge, you can join my newsletter list and look out for the next one. Thank you guys so much. Chowsy. Please, by the way, share, follow, like, and share your questions below in the comments. I look forward to connecting with you more and learn more about where you're at. How do you use gratitude in your ceremony work and in your ceremony of life work? Besitos.